Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we have a special pre recorded episode. We're pre recording because Sunday is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, would be fathers, and force witches out there. Uh, yeah, that will probably be our last mention of the Acolyte. There are plenty of other channels discussing Acolyte, so if you want to get your fill, you could go to one of those other videos. But I, I can't talk about it anymore. I'm just done.
um, what's weird is uh, I didn't realize this, but the two movies that we are discussing actually kind of make sense in a way as far as Father's Day.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So today we're doing a "He Made Me Do It," where we force the other person to watch a movie they've never seen before, or read a book, or play a video game. Today, Caleb had me watch Prometheus, the prequel to Aliens, or Alien 3, or whatever. And then Caleb had to watch Short Circuit. So we will be discussing that a little bit later. But first, how has your week been, Caleb?
It's been good. It's been good. I talk enough about Destiny. Like that's kind of the game that me and my friends play, and it's we're still knee deep in the new expansion. But other than that, so I've started watching the show, um, and I have started to figure out what television is doing with their sci-fi shows. And by that I mean stuff like Star Trek, Halo, Star Wars. I started to figure it out. Which is I don't know if you remember whenever Game of Thrones was like all the rage, but every fantasy show tried to be Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have started watching The Expanse on Amazon, and I'm watching it, and apparently it's really good. Apparently it's one of the greatest sci-fi shows ever, and I'm like, oh, this is um this is the Game of Thrones of sci-fi shows, because this is a phenomenal show that every sci-fi property is trying to be now, because I'm watching it, and I see similarities between this and Halo TV show. Like honestly, like I'm watching it and I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a better version of Paramount's Halo. But I also see some modern Star Trek in there. And as far as Star Wars, not exactly, because Star Wars is a little bit more mystical inherently. Closest thing would be Andor, but Andor is still original. But I do see some things that Andor does that probably comes from The Expanse. Um, so I'm enjoying it right now, and I just think it's very interesting because now I get it, like it's like, oh man, why are all these sci-fi shows trying to be like this? I was like, oh, it's because of The Expanse. I get it now. So
Nice.
yeah. Have you ever heard
Mhm.
of it?
Yes, yes, I have heard of
Oh,
Expanse. I have not watched it though, but I have heard great things about it.
okay. I like, what's fun is Thomas Jane is in it, and I love Thomas Jane.
Hmm.
And it's really funny because so in this sci-fi world, there's basically three main uh, basically three main storylines happening. One is where there's a crew where their ship was attacked, and now they're behind enemy lines with the Martians. And by Martians, like, there aren't aliens. Martians are literally people on Mars, uh, because they've colonized Mars. Um, And so there's that, and that's kind of the main storyline. Like that's your traditional. There's one that has a lady, an Indian lady. I have seen her in other stuff, but I can't place her. But essentially, she's kind of like a politician, and so her stuff takes place on Earth and is very much politically focused, and her playing the Game of Thrones, I guess. um, and then Thomas Jane, his takes place on Ceres Station, space station, and he is a private detective. He even has like a jacket and a fedora and everything. Like it's like his is straight up film noir, but he has like data pads and stuff. It's really fun. Um, and he has the most ridiculous, the reason that he keeps the hat on, and it's not the reason he keeps the hat on, but I'm pretty sure it's why he keeps the hat on because whenever he takes the hat off, in my opinion, he has the most ridiculous haircut that I have ever seen. And it's really funny. But I definitely, um, I'm definitely enjoying it. I haven't made it past the first season, but I definitely would recommend it. It almost makes me wonder because I still haven't watched Deep Space Nine. People tell me to watch Deep Space Nine. I'm like, maybe this all goes back to Deep Space Nine. Maybe like everything's trying to ape on the Expanse, and then the Expanse is just kind of like a modern Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I wonder if it's that or Battlestar Galactica, because
Yeah.
some of the creators of DS9 made Battlestar Galactica and then made it more gritty, and so it's like a culmination where they're like, okay, let's do this, let's do that, and so
Mhm.
maybe this is the latest version of that.
I am curious where the show ends because I know that it's 6 seasons, and I've read that it has a pretty satisfying ending, but they don't finish the books. Like the books are finished, but they don't like continue.
Hmm.
So like I'm wondering if like it's one of those things where like let's say Three Body Problems starts with the ends with the second book and doesn't go into the third book. Maybe it's like that where it's like, oh, this just happens to be a better ending.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Yeah.
so what about yourself? You've been reading. You've been sending me a lot of. At least I feel like a lot of Fantastic Four. Like,
Yeah, I go through these kicks where I'm like, oh yeah, Fantastic Four is awesome, and so I'll see a lot of stuff on Reddit where it's Fantastic Four stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, we said it's Caleb.
mhm.
Um, been watching Smiling Friends. Uh, I still love that show, and I still amazes me how many internet guest stars they have like in every episode.
I've seen the Nostalgia Critic one, and
Uh
that's
huh.
really funny. I did make a deal with a friend of mine because he's been trying to get me to watch Smiling Friends, and I watched the first 3 episodes, and I'm like, I don't get it. This isn't really my type of humor. Though the thing that made me laugh, like my favorite episode of those three was the Shrimpina stuff. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
hilarious. It's like, her name's Shrimpina. She be a shrimp.
Have you
Uh,
gotten to the Lord of the Rings episode yet?
no, not yet.
Okay,
Uh,
that one's
but
funny.
but I have made a deal. Because I have a friend, and I know we don't have to talk about. I made a deal with a friend who's very similar to me in our views of the Force, and we both love KOTOR 2, and we played the Old Republic together for 4 years. I made the deal that because he said he was going to watch it whenever it was all done. I said, if you watch the show that we're not allowed to talk about,
Hmm.
uh, week to week with the rest of us, I will catch up on Smiling Friends. And so that is why I'm actually catching up on watching Smiling Friends.
Wow. Okay.
Um, I will be caught up on Smiling Friends myself soon.
Yeah, they've had Joel Haver on there for one episode, and the Red Letter Media guys have been on there a couple of times now, and it's just funny that they keep getting all these
Yep.
people. So
I did see Cameron showed me another clip that I thought was really funny, which was there's some sort of political episode like presidents or something,
yeah.
and so uh He goes out there and he's like, he's an honor to his people, and he's a great ally of the United States. And then Pym's like, you was supposed to condemn him. Yeah, man, I don't know anything about politics, and even I know he's bad news.
The I think my favorite episode is still the Brazil episode. You'll get there soon. It's funny.
I
Uh,
I have been told, like, every time I talk to Cameron, every time I talk to uh my friend, he's like, have you gotten frowning friends yet? Have you gotten frowning friends?
the frowning friends, yeah, yeah, good times. What else? So we are in Shreveport right now, so we were in the car for a while. So we were looking for a book to listen to, and I just picked something with Tales in the title. So we were listening to Tales from the Gas Station, and it's pretty good so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's very quirky, very kind of reminds me of like Eureka or one of those type shows where all this weird stuff is just happening. It
Is
does
it
it.
like
It
is it like a short story collection, or
No, it's one overarching story. There's four volumes, so it's been going on for a while, but it's narrated by Mr. Creepypasta from the internet. So it's pretty fun so far. Uh, I have no idea what's going on, but
so
it's humorous.
so no relation to like Tales from Moss Isley Cantina or anything like that.
No, nothing like that. I was kind of looking for something like that where it'd be like short stories where we didn't have to listen for 8 hours, but this seems to be one continuous story. But that's okay. It's if I really like it, I might just hunt down the books, the hardcovers, and read them or something. So
Tales from the Gas Station. It's like that's like the Bullet County Star Wars.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of like that. It's there's just weird stuff that keeps happening. Like there's cultists that keep visiting the store, and there's lawn gnomes that keep appearing in the store and stuff, and it's funny.
Is it like is it like one of Stephen King's funnier books? Like, I know it's not Stephen King, but is it like a Stephen King funny book?
Maybe I'm thinking of. You're probably too young for this. You remember Erie, Indiana? It was a Saturday morning show
I've heard of
with
it.
the
Yeah, I am
or
familiar.
like kind of like X Files. If X Files was funny, or like kind of like Lone Gunman, where it's just weird stuff
Mm.
happening. You don't quite understand why that happened, but it's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah. I do think X Files is funny, but that's only because uh, I I I have a very similar sense of humor to Mulder whenever he's like being
Hmm.
sarcastic. So like I think X Files is funny, but
There's certainly some funny episodes of X Files.
yeah, I need to get back to. I don't think I've ever finished the. See, X Files is one of those things. At least at this point, because I would assume that with X Files in the first season they're trying to find their footing. They're doing episodic stuff. So I haven't reached like an overarching story yet. So like I'll go through a kick where I'll just like I'll watch an episode and then like 2 months later I'm like, oh, I'll watch another episode because like it's so episodic at this point. So
Hmm.
like, and it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just like I'm not at the point where it encourages me to watch the next episode until I'm in the mood.
Right. Yeah. Eventually, there is an overarching story, if I recall.
Is that when it gets bad?
I think it gets bad around the time Mulder leaves for a while.
Oh well, I mean that's about right. I mean like how many shows? This isn't an. I wouldn't want to make this a show because like I tend to want to make the main topic at least positive, but like shows that like dipped in quality after the main character left, like
Sure. Yeah.
the The Office, that 70s show, Scrubs. It's usually comedies now that I think about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Well,
I
I mean, some shows can handle it. Like Law and Order has gone through several casting changes, and
oh
it's
yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I mean, and at this point, that is that is its identity. Like I can I was not heartbroken whenever Jeffrey Donovan left. He played Michael Weston in Burn Notice,
hmm
because I was like, this is just his stint on Law and Order.
hmm
Now there is one thing I have not seen a single episode since Sam Watterson left. He's no longer on the show. Jack McCoy is not on the show anymore. I have not seen a single episode since he left. I really need to because I'm very curious
Right.
how that goes. Because I mean,
Yeah.
like, you know what's funny? He is so synonymous to Law and Order with me. It wasn't until the past year and a half when I started like actually actively watching Law and Order um, that I didn't realize he didn't show up until like season 7, which
Hmm.
is insane.
Yeah, the first couple seasons of Law and Order are a bit different from what later turns into.
Yeah.
Um,
Now
yeah.
I do love Benjamin Stone, who is the first ADA. He's great.
Mm.
Um, in fact, fun thing. Um, in later episodes of SVU, they actually bring in a character who is actually Benjamin Stone's son, who is the SVU's ADA.
Hmm.
Um, and what I found out was he was actually the main character for the season that Chicago Justice was a show, which continues to expand the Dick Wolf cinematic universe.
Yeah. Or some people call it the Munch universe because,
Yeah, I mean, it starts with him.
well, because he's in everything. He's in that character's in Arrested Development. I think he's been on Simpsons and X
Yeah,
Files. So all
yeah,
that starts connecting, and then it all ends up back in the snow globe at the end of St. Elsewhere.
yeah.
So
Um, but the funny thing though is there's a character um, in Chicago Med who is played by the the lieutenant in Law and Order. No relation, and they never bring it up. So like, it's kind of the same universe. They're both by Dick Wolf, and
mhm.
characters show up, and there's even a Chicago PD crossover with SVU. But she also plays Chicago Med and the original Law and Order. So I don't know. I could just we I talk about Law and Order enough that I think we need to find out how we can do like what's a singular topic that we can talk about Law and Order for an episode.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up this image from on my mom's computer. Let's see.
What's the image? I can look it up.
I'm pulling up a. Oh, it's not gonna let me pull it up. It's a image of the Tommy whatever universe from that's everything that's in the hourglass or the snow globe. I mean, um, here
Hmm.
you won't be able to see the. Oh, you know what? I can't. Can I share stuff? Let's see.
I think you can put stuff up, but I have to.
Okay, let me see.
Tommy Westfall. Oh, okay. I think I found it.
Yeah, just pull up one of those images like of the roadmap of all the shows that are in there that they've
Right.
mapped out so far.
Let's see.
Because
Is
it's really
this?
funny. And then like there's like a whole Mork and Mindy universe because they're like Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley and all that, and there's all these little mini universes, and then eventually they all connect back to Saint Elsewhere.
So forgive me. I do not. I'm not familiar with Saint Elsewhere in the slightest.
It was a hospital, like it was kind of like the ER of the 70s or 80s or whatever. I think
Okay.
it was 80s. A lot of famous people on there like Howie Mandel and stuff.
Okay.
And the final episode, you find out that the whole show is taking place inside a snow globe that a little, I guess, autistic kid has. So that means that if that kid is imagining Saint Elsewhere and Saint Elsewhere is crossing over for all these other shows, then he's imagining all those shows as well. So all of our TV shows are taking place in this kid's brain, basically.
Okay. And so that means, wait, Mr. Robot? That's a recent show.
Yeah, they keep crossing over and it keeps adding it to what's in this kid's brain. Yeah.
Boston. Oh, I love Boston Legal.
Boston Legal.
Here's the thing. I absolutely love. We were talking about when Steve Carell left The Office, James Spader took his place. That's the only thing I don't like James Spader in is The Office. But I love him in Boston Legal. I also love him in Stargate. Obviously, I think he did a phenomenal job as Ultron. I have never. What's that one show that he did with Famke Jensen? Uh, it was like his most recent show where he always had the fedora on. The Blacklist. I've never seen
Oh,
that.
Blacklist. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
never seen that. What else we got? Angel, Firefly, Battlestar. Oh my god. Um, huh. Malcolm in the Middle. American Horror Story. Okay. Walker, Texas Ranger. Um, oh my lord. Uh,
Yeah, so this might be a show idea to go through this whole grid and how all these things
yeah.
actually cross over. And
Oh, this I yeah. I think we found our Law and Order show. Crossing Jordan. Oh my god. Because so there's that one episode of Law and Order where the 88 the where Jack McCoy's partner, she dies in a car accident. That's her. That's Crossing Jordan. Oh my god. Claire or something. And so this kid can't even imagine uh like individual people. Like some people play other people.
I like how in yellow it just says "See Law and Order Universe" in bottom right grid. There's a
Oh
whole
god.
separate Law and Order universe grid.
Oh my lord. I wish I could read what this red one says, but it's not the greatest.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll definitely have to find a more clear grid, but I do like this idea. This is fun.
yeah.
Um, okay. Huh. I wonder if there's so this is a grid. I wonder if this is like a statistics grid where like the farther they get away from the middle, like it means something.
I don't know. Uh, I do see it. Mash is on here. That's funny because Mash had several spinoffs also, and yeah,
S- So do, so Saint Elsewhere is the is this the x-axis?
yeah. So Saint Else, I guess Saint
Yeah.
Elsewhere and Homicide: Life on the
Yeah.
Street. Everything connects to.
Right. Okay. So like right here, this is the center of all the universe. Everything comes down to uh, a singular episode where Saint Elsewhere and Homicide: Life on the Street cross over. Apparently, that is where life starts.
Yes, where Tommy. Yeah,
In the beginning, there was one,
it's
and that was
Tommy.
Tommy. That was Tommy Westfall. All
Uh,
right, that's fun. I'm okay. That's definitely going on the. That's definitely going on um the document. All right. So as far as news, so before we continue, we do want to bring up some people that we lost in the comic book world recently.
Hold on one second before we get to the serious news. I just pulled it up on Wikipedia. So here's an
Okay.
example. In the
Okay. Yeah.
episode of Saint Elsewhere called "Santa Claus is Dead," Dr. Craig mentions serving in Korea with his drinking buddy BJ Honeycutt
Oh my god.
from MASH.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be a fun episode.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. Oh man. That's insane.
Okay,
All right.
now let's get serious. Yeah,
Okay.
we've had some. It's been a rough week for
Yeah.
YouTubers.
So first up, I think we got the news on Monday, but I think he passed 2 days before.
Mhm.
The comic historian Benny, he unfortunately has passed. And I mean, when I was in high school, because he's been around for a long time. When
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school, and I was just now getting into work, and I really couldn't afford comics or trades because I didn't really have money at the time. Um, I mean, he is how I kept up with Scott Snyder's Batman. He's how I kept up with New 52. Um, and honestly, whenever I read stuff like Zero Year or Court of the Owls or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I can still hear his oh, welcome everyone to the comic store, like his whole spiel. I still hear it like whenever I'm reading specifically Scott Snyder Batman. So
Yeah,
um
we would listen to him on car trips. So yeah, definitely one of the OG comic YouTube guys, and there's a lot of channels that imitate what he did, but he was one of the best at it. So
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I like. I've always compared him and Comic Explained. I do like Comics Explained. Which Comics Explained goes more into like the lore, and like he'll like go back and say, and this is what this is referencing, and this is which is nice. But there was something about the comic story and just straight up doing the story without having to explain it, and just making it like a like an audio drama. Something
hmm
about that I really enjoyed.
yeah, and then we also lost Clobbering Time or Clobby. He was on Midnight's Edge quite a bit, and WW Pro and some other shows. He also passed away. He was a longtime comic book store owner. So yeah, just a rough week for comic book store YouTubers.
Yeah. So we definitely want to do our best to uh, carry on the comic book YouTuber mantle, along with other comic book YouTubers. We want to show them respect and also show the hobby that they loved respect. So
Yeah, if there's some side project you've been wanting to do, like a YouTube show or writing a story or whatever, get on it. Life is short.
yeah.
So
So let's go ahead and move straight into some news such
so
as
so hopefully happier news.
yeah, yeah. Uh, you know what? I don't know if this is going to be necessarily happier news. What is your opinion on the Watchmen trailer?
So it looks like there's going to be a two-part animated Watchmen movie. I assume in theaters. It wasn't super clear.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was I was I was curious about that myself.
I think it probably works better animated than the live action. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm also kind of like I get tired of Watchmen. like
Well, I
it
mean,
seems like we always go back to Watchmen, and so
and like I've said this numerous times, and I mean, this is the one thing that's my hot take that I'm like, if anyone wants to dunk on me, anybody wants to make fun of me for it, please go ahead. I deserve it. Um, I think that HBO's Watchmen show is the best Watchmen connected to anything. I think it's better than Alan Moore's original story. Um, so please continue to dunk on me for saying that. Uh,
yeah, I'm not a huge Watchmen guy, but I do find myself going back to reread it like every few years, or just
I think it's just a respect thing, like.
yeah, I think so. DC Comics just released a like a digest version for $10, so I've been tempted to just go pick that up, and then thought to
Mhm.
quit going to the library over and over. So
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, I probably need to pick up a copy myself just because I mean, it's like, you got to have a copy of, you know what? This is gonna be sacrilegious, but I'm gonna say it. Having Watchmen is kind of like the geek's version of having the Bible in your house.
or yeah, like the works of Shakespeare or
Yeah.
something that
Lord of the
it's
Rings.
I might not be the huge Shakespeare fan, but I respect it for what it did to the
Yeah,
genre
yeah.
and creating a lot of stuff. Yeah, so DC they just released a they're doing two a month. These little $10 digest things. I think the first month was Watchmen and Batman's Court of Owls. I think is what's called.
Yes.
I haven't read Court of Owls. I was tempted maybe just to buy the $10 one, but I don't know.
If you do, like, is he on the Facts of Life?
I think Tom
Scott.
King. Oh no, that was Scott Snyder. I don't know if we put Scott Snyder on the list. We might have to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I can't really think of a Scott Snyder. Oh wait, there we go. I just did. Okay, yeah, he's going on the list.
Okay. I think next month, I think it's a Wonder Woman book and All Star Superman. I'll definitely be picking up All Star Superman for $10. That's
So these digest ones, they're just the small, like
they're
they're smaller.
smaller. They're
They're
like kind of like
smaller.
the Runaways size books. Remember those Runaways digests?
Right. But
Yeah.
it's still the whole
Yes, the whole
thing.
story
Okay.
for $10. I mean, that's
I mean, that's great. I mean, like, I remember whenever you couldn't get Watchmen for less than 30, so
yeah, yeah. So I mean, from what is his name? Uh, Omar. What's his? I can't think of what his channel is called. Mint Condition, his YouTube channel where he reviews graphic novels. He does like size comparisons of what these look like compared to other books and stuff. So if you want to check that out, check out Omar from Louisville. He's an awesome dude. Um, and he does great reviews of omnibuses and omnibuy and graphic novels. All right. Uh,
next up, interesting topic. So James Gunn's DC is actually starting this year. And it is not with Superman. It is with Creature Commandos. So what? I mean, it par for the course for James Gunn. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a weird choice. I also think people are going to ignore it. Like the hardcore fans will go, okay, cool. Here's this to start James Gunn universe, but for the mainstream audience, it's not going to start until Superman in July.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was honestly the. I feel the same way about. Well, and especially because it's a cartoon, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that the stars aligned for mainstream audience to recognize that WandaVision was the start of Phase 4. Um, like that was kind of like, it was popular. Disney Plus had just come out. It was live action, and it had actors that was recognizable. Um because it was live action, like it, the stars aligned for that. Creature Commandos, having your universe start off with an animated show that stars Frank Grillo, um and it's I love Frank Grillo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen anything with him in it where he's done a bad job. Did you ever watch Boss Level on Hulu?
I did not.
I think you'd like that. But he's in that. He's in the Purge movies, and lots of people actually know him as Crossbones from the Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I would not call him a recognizable face. In fact, I used to get him mixed up with Charlton Copley a lot, who is also not a recognizable face. um,
Yeah, it happens.
so um, it's an odd choice, but man, I don't think a James Gunn universe would start off any other way than with an odd choice.
Yeah.
um, Actually, the weirdest choice would be like, oh man, it turns out the super is at the beginning of the.
Or was it Brightburn or whatever he was
Oh
involved
my
with?
god, there, if there is one episode where, like, if I'm allowed to be my hatred a-hole self about something, if we ever talk about Brightburn, I am going to eviscerate that movie. Oh my god. But yeah, it is weird that, like, your first movie is Superman, and you wouldn't have that just be your beginning. But like I said, it's James Gunn. Um, so let's see. I think um we did get some, and we'll talk about these more in the future because like we're just getting teasers at this point, but we are getting stuff about Arcane season 2, which is going to be the final season, and then Lord of the Rings: The War of Rohirrim. Um, those things look really good, obviously. But we don't have a whole lot of information to talk about those.
Hmm.
So we can just move on to our final piece of news, which is Cartoon Network.
Yeah, they still have a network. Apparently, I'm
Yeah,
surprised that they actually announced new shows, and it wasn't just more Teen Titans Go.
yeah. And are they rebooting these shows? Like, what's
Well, we'll
happening?
we'll read through it. There's quite a few changes. There was some type of animation festival or convention or something. This is where
Okay,
they showed part of the Lord of the Rings animated movie, and then Cartoon Network had several announcements. I think Nickelodeon had announcements too, but uh, Cartoon Network
let's
hasn't
see.
really announced anything in a while. So
At this
uh,
point, Cartoon Network's kind of like, you know what? No, it's not. Like, it still is show. I was going to compare it to MTV, but Cartoon Network is still showing cartoons. There was a point where they're doing like the CN reel with like the live action shows.
that
Uh,
was that for me was the beginning of the end of Cartoon Network.
they're
Because if you were an OG Cartoon Network fan, they always aired commercials saying, "We will never air anything live action. It'll be
yeah.
cartoons 24 hours a day forever." And then they got a new president, like, "Let's show live action movies." And you're like, "No, this is Cartoon Network."
There was one that there was one that I actually really liked because CN reel was actually when I was like 10 to 15. I don't exactly know, but there was one that I liked, but it was still kind of cartoonish. It was the reanimated movie and the Out of Jimmy's Head, which was where
Hmm.
the kid got a brain transplant or something with a cart, like it's essentially Walt Disney,
Hmm.
and so he could see the cartoons. And so it was kind of
I'm
like
okay with that. I'm
yeah,
okay with McGee and Me or Lizzie McGuire type show. That's fine.
yeah, or I mean, it was very, very similar to Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Um, and so, like, I remember watching those. Um, and it's actually I need to make a list because yeah, the movie version reanimated, which is kind of like the pilot movie that goes into the show. It has the 2000s trope of having um having the climax, heroes rise up scene to "It's On" by Super Chick. Um, that and Tim Allen's Zoom both have that trope. And so I just need to go through and find out how many shows and movies utilize "It's On" by Super Chick.
And then the modern version of that is Imagine Dragons. We are the warriors. You know that
Yeah,
song.
yeah. Um, I was actually whenever Captain Marvel first came out, I'm like, oh man, I bet you this is the type of movie to have "It's On" at the end of it. And then
or One Girl Revolution. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then it's like "Just a Girl" by No Doubt, and I'm like, oh man, that came out of nowhere. um, but yeah, so this is a Variety article about their new
It gives like a
shows.
brief list and it goes into more detail as you go down below.
Okay.
So
Uh.
here's where the breakdown starts. So if you scroll down to where the breakdown, okay.
Okay. Foster's Home for
No.
Foster's Fun Time for
Hmm.
Imaginary Friends. Um. A new group of preschool imaginary friends learns from an immature elder friend, Blue.
Yeah, so this is going to be
That's.
geared towards preschoolers.
I gotta be honest. I'm kind of on board with this just because I need Blue to be corrupting the youth of America.
Yeah. Blue's such an a-hole. Yeah.
Oh, oh my God! I love this. I love this. Oh man. Oh, I love this so much. I love this so much. Oh man. Okay. Okay. So that's one. That's one.
Okay.
I would imagine that you sent me this intending on being like, I don't really like this. First
No,
one.
I saw the first two. I was like, wait, this is a show thing. Let me not look at any more of these. So I
Okay.
don't know what's on this list. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Number one, I'm actually on board with it. As here's the thing: you can have Blue learn a lesson at the end of the episode. Fine, sure, but I need the majority of the episode to be him corrupting the youth of America. I love this. Adventure Time side quest. So here's the thing: I did not watch any of Adventure Time. Adventure Time was like right after my time of watching cartoons. I was a teenager who was too cool for cartoons, and so I did not watch this at all. So I don't know
So
anything about it.
it's talking about them. It's gonna be Finn and Jake in, but them as kids, like younger versions. So again, we're skewing younger with this one also.
Is that a side quest? I would have figured a side quest would be like at the same time as the original cartoon, but like
Well,
off
so
to the side.
I think the thought is Adventure Time. A lot of the storylines, were season storylines. These are just gonna be like episodic, where it's just a quick, you know,
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
Untitled Okay, so regular show was the one show like I was still watching regular show as a teenager. I very much enjoyed regular show. Um, let's see.
There's like no details.
I know them. I mean, I thought we knew that Mordecai and Rigby were back. I guess we don't know if they're back. Okay, cool. Uh, oh, is that it?
No, there were some other ones. Where's the other one? Okay, here we
Oh,
go. Projects in development.
go go. Oh, I've heard about this one. Uh, I think this looks hilarious, and I'm very like you. This is one of those where like I don't really have like a positive or negative opinion on this, but you have caught my interest.
Scooby Doo is like Ninja Turtles. They'll reboot it every 5 years. If you don't like it, just wait.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
and so I mean, like this is like Makagogo. That's really funny. um,
I wonder if the it may say it up above, but I wonder if the Mystery Machine like transforms into different vehicles or something.
oh, that'd be so funny. Scooby turns to his uncle, Daisuke Do. Oh my god, this is amazing! And magical friend Etsuko and gadget whiz Toshiro. Oh my
This reminds me
god.
of a 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I loved 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my god. This is amazing. Okay. I mean like I honestly you sent this to me and I was fully expecting that this was going to be like news that we were going to dunk on. I love all of this.
Well, there's
uh
one coming up that's gonna blow your mind, so we'll keep
okay.
reading.
Okay. Adventure Time Heyo BMO.
So it looks
Uh
like we're getting a lot of preschool shows.
preschool series in the fantastical land of ooh. I
So
don't know. I don't know why I'm
BMO is the little Game Boy that's alive that talks to them. The little
gotcha.
yeah
I don't know why I'm reading all the Adventure Time stuff. I mean, it is just in another language to me. I don't know anything about
yeah
Adventure
yeah. So I
Time.
could see BMO having a preschool show because BMO doesn't really understand the world around them.
Okay.
So what?
Barbara throws a wob. What does that mean?
Huh? Okay, let's read the description. I don't know. A young cat.
A young cat who most days does whatever other cats do until one day she throws a tantrum she can't control. Uh,
What that means?
She throws a tantrum. She can't. I gotta be honest. I feel like every tantrum is not under control.
Yeah,
Even for your parents out, even for you parents out there.
but it's
I,
like a tantrum that never ends. Like the cat is just permanently stuck in a tantrum now.
I mean, is this just like it? Does this imply that Garfield is on Adderall? Is that like if Garfield came off his Adderall, is he just in a constant state of tantrum?
I don't know. It is by the Amazing World Gumball people, so who knows what this is gonna
Um,
be?
Another show. Don't know much about it.
My son is
Uh,
obsessed with Gumball, and
they is Adventure Time Cartoon Network SpongeBob? Is that what's happening?
pretty much. I mean, it was very popular. It has a
Okay.
big following, so I could see them really trying to milk Adventure Time.
Okay. Movie. Their greatest adventure yet.
That's all we know.
Yep. Bad Karma. Family movie set in a fantasy build by exciting and epic tale about courage, loyalty, and unlikely friendship.
Demon Princess and a demigod, Hanuman.
Oh, okay, okay. I was about to make fun of the Lord of the Rings thing right here, but no, we got more information. A clip shown. Two,
Cute
two's
meat.
cute meat. Did they mean meat cute?
I think so. I was gonna say that sounds right, but it's not right. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
meet cute.
Let's see. Honestly, a demon and a demigod meet cute. I mean, is this the child's good omens? Because I think that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Lovey Dovey.
What? What?
Oh, hold on. Okay. A romantic wedding dove in search of his one true love gets stuck with a bunch of streetwise pigeons, whose only goal is to screw with a large puppy.
So is this what were they called? The good feathers from Animaniacs?
Oh my god. I do have a question. So this comes from the lead writer,
Oh
or from a
no.
writer of Harley Quinn takes creative. Whenever they say they're trying to screw a large bird,
Yeah, I don't know what that meant.
um, i- is this an H? Hold on, is this a? It
Doesn't
doesn't tell
say.
me. Oh my god. Okay.
It's hard to tell. Yeah. Oh wait, where's okay? Go back up to the top. They're in the very top. They're describing some shows. Let's see.
La, la, la.
Okay, scroll down some. Scooby Doo, Adventure Time, regular show. Okay, scroll down, scroll down. Shoot, it's maybe it's in a different article I saw. Do you remember the what was it called? The Batman holiday special thing that came out this year with little Damien.
Oh yeah.
It's getting its own show called the Bat Family or something.
Uh,
Probably that top one that popped up, but yeah. Click that. Let's see. Uh,
ah. What's wrong with Alfred? I never watched this, so
yeah.
I don't know. I might watch it just because.
Okay, wait. Go back down to below the ad right there. It says the first paragraph after the ad right there. Following the events of the holiday film, Bat Family follows Batman, Alfred, young Damian Wade, to take on Man of Little Batman alongside a few newcomers to Wayne Manor as they navigate the fun and frustrations of life as a super family.
Wait, so this article came out in 2023. So we've known about this apparently.
Oh, apparently so. Okay. I just missed it. Yeah.
I missed it, you missed it, everyone else missed it.
Yeah.
um I don't know. I think we're just too excited about Cape Crusader to care about this.
Okay.
um okay. So I would say I am most jazzed for Go Go Mystery Machine
Hmm.
and Foster's Ruins the Children of America.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to do like a new preschool block or something of shows, which is fine.
You know,
Um,
there's an episode of Ed, Ed and Eddie where they reminisce on their preschool years. I want that to be a show where it's just Eddie and Ed in diapers, just scamming people, getting quarters.
Ed, and Eddie, baby, babies, or something. Yeah, just keep repeating baby in different ways. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Okay. I'm actually.
it's not
I.
terrible. They're rehashing a lot of old stuff, but it's not terrible.
You,
I've seen worse ones.
I definitely went into that ready to dunk on it, like we've dunked on. Oh, what was the last Marvel thing that we did that with?
Is it the vampire thing, or I don't remember?
I thought the vampire thing was dope. I was like, it was the Venom thing.
Yeah, we were confused. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Venom thing. But no, I actually, I that was kind of like the Infinity Stones, where I was like,
Mm.
oh man, I'm actually kind of. No. Was it the Infinity Stone? It was 2099, where I was like, ah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of on board with this.
Yeah.
I still have no interest in Adventure Time, so like that I don't have any opinion on that, but that's just because
Yeah, and I think there was other stuff announced or maybe previously announced. Like I know there's more World of Gumball stuff coming, and I think there's some more Ben 10 stuff coming. So there's,
oh man, dude, like if we're talking about a show that I loved and now I just uh, like if we're talking about a show that okay, so Ben 10 was a show that grew up with me. Like I was about 10 when Ben 10 came out. And then, I watched Alien Force and Ultimate Alien and all that. And then after that, once I became a teenager, it started like aging backwards.
yeah, it pulled a Pokemon, or else Ash was retarded, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's
So,
like we're gonna regress everything back to day zero. Yeah,
man, you know what's funny?
I was not a huge Ben 10 fan, but I do remember really enjoying the stuff of Kevin 11 and all that stuff. And
Oh yeah, I mean, I still think that Alien Force is the best of the shows, and that's where Kevin really became a main character, where he started dating Gwen,
mhm.
and and he's got the classic, yeah, you got to treat a car like a lady, and Gwen's like, okay, explain. uh, but what's really funny is if you watch. And these shows were on at the same time. If you watch Spectacular Spider-Man and Ben 10 Alien Force side by side, they are very similar shows.
Mhm.
um, and there's episodes where they go to Coney Island and then there's a fight on Coney. I'm like, I think I saw this on Spectacular Spider-Man one time.
Yeah, it's the fight from a different point of view. It's
Yeah,
like they're in the background. Yeah.
yeah. It's no, it's not Spider-Man. It's whatever Invincible Spider-Man was called. I don't remember.
Mhm.
Um,
Uh,
oh, speaking of, so apparently The Boys season 5 is going to be the last season. We just found that out. I
yeah, I haven't watched The Boys at all.
The Boys
I
is
don't
hard
know.
for me. The Boys is hard for me. So the reason that I hate Brightburn as much as I do is because I'm very, very critical and particular about the evil Superman trope.
Hmm.
And so um, the reason I'm cool with Invincible is because to me, Omni Man is not the Superman. Invincible is Superman. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
and it's more Dragon Ball Z than
Yeah, right.
Superman at the end of the
Uh,
day.
yeah, really, it really is. Um, uh, I love Injustice as a fighting game, but the story I'm very critical of because evil Superman. Um, I think the Justice Lord is probably the best evil Superman, honestly.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm very critical about evil Superman. And I'm also like the first episode of The Boys, whenever Starlight is chosen to become the next member of the Seven, and they're like getting her ready for her intro, and the producers are like, we loved all that bull crap about how you're a hometown girl and just want to do the right thing. And she's like, what do you mean bull crap? I meant it. And then they're like, yeah, and that's why we love you. And I'm like, oh, this is really cynical for my taste. I do keep up with the boys though. Like, I actually did watch all of season 3 because I love Jensen Ackles and Soldier Boy was like the best.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I still haven't watched the episodes from season 4. I might.
Who wrote the voice? Was that Garth Ennis?
I think so.
Yeah,
Who?
I have to be the right mood for that type of stuff, like Mark Millar, Garth Ennis. So if I'm not in the right mood, it just I
Uh,
don't like it.
Garth Ennis is very. It's very interesting because Garth Ennis has stated that um, his favorite Superman superhero is Superman. Um, and so I think he is the right guy to write evil Superman. Because I believe him when he says that because there's an issue of Hitman. Um,
It
do you know which issue I'm talking about?
No, I'm just thinking about all the Hitman characters now. Go on.
Okay. So there's an episode of not an episode. There's an issue of Hitman,
Hmm.
where he's talking to Superman, but Superman doesn't realize who he is. um, and I mean, like, it's just one of the greatest issues of DC Comics, in my opinion. In fact, if you look at our uh, if you look at our pop culture show notes, um, DC stories to be adapted, Hitman meets Superman is my number one. um, but yeah, so like I Garth Ennis writing Evil Superman, I buy it because he loves Superman so much. And that's the
Hmm.
thing. I think that in order to write Evil Superman, you have to understand and love Superman. I don't think
Yeah,
it's possible to write Evil Superman from a pessimistic point of view.
yeah. Mark Millar is also a big Superman fan, so
Yeah, yeah. And
um,
I mean, honestly, I think that's why I love the Ultimates so much, Ultimates 1 and 2, um, is because he understands that.
have you ever read Garth Ennis's Punisher run?
Yes, I love it. Puncher
It,
Max. It's phenomenal.
well, I've read it up to when it stops being silly, and then
Yeah.
I didn't read the serious stuff after that, but
Okay.
the silly run with Detective Soap and all that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's great. If you want to read good Punisher stuff, that is wonderful.
I mean, Garth Ennis, honestly, that's what I think is interesting about him is he can pull off
Hmm.
both silly and but it's still something that I have to be in the mood for. Like, here's the thing: I love Ultimates. I do have to be in the mood for Ultimates.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, but before we move on to the main topic, I do also want to bring up one other thing. I actually got caught up on the announcements and whatnot. What's up with a bunch of people thinking that Joanna Dark looks like a dude?
Oh, I hadn't heard that. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
she looked different, but I did. I was like, okay, whatever.
yeah. I mean, like people think she looks like a dude, and I'm like, what, what girls are you looking at? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like she looks fine, and the game. I mean, like it looks like Mirror's Edge, but I'm kind of on board with that. I like
Yeah.
Mirror's Edge.
I mean, to me, Perfect Dark is multiplayer, so I was just kind of like, okay,
Yeah,
whatever. I didn't care about the single player part, So, I mean, yeah, it looks like Perfect Dark, I guess, but it was just like, yeah, give me the crazy multiplayer, please.
and I just need Elvis to show up like, ah, ah.
What was the
uh,
other guy, Mr. Blonde? Was that the bad guy?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I loved Elvis. I know people hate Elvis. Like people think that the game gets bad whenever Elvis shows up, and I'm like, I feel like the game becomes its own when Elvis shows up.
Yeah, it's fine.
Um,
People complain too much to have fun.
yeah. All right. So moving on to our main topic, the he made me do it. Um, so I watched Short Circuit. You watched Prometheus. Let's go ahead and talk about Short Circuit first because I
Okay.
feel like, if I may, the Short Circuit conversation is going to be a little bit more shallow than the Prometheus conversation,
Oh,
and
sure.
that's
Yeah.
just because Prometheus is a deeper movie.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
so
haven't seen Short Circuit in years. So, a lot of this is me watching as a kid or a teenager. It's been a while.
so I didn't realize that well, first of all, his name's not Johnny Five in the movie until the very end. He's just number five, but I'll go
Hmm.
ahead and I'll call him Johnny Five just because that's what people know him as at this point.
Hmm.
I did not realize that Johnny Five talked.
Oh yeah. I mean
Yeah,
that's what makes the movie fun. Is him
yeah.
talking.
I don't know. Like I've always like heard it compared to like Wally, so I assumed he didn't like say full sentences. Like at most, like he would just say people's names or something. Um, so as far as the movie, have you seen Chappie?
No, I've seen District 9.
Okay, so Chappie is the third in that pseudo trilogy that Neil
Hmm.
Blomkamp did.
Hmm.
Um, I can definitely see how Chappie came from this
Hmm.
and was kind of like the R-rated adult version. So I definitely saw a lot of where Chappie got its ideas. Um,
Just real quick for anybody who hasn't seen Short Circuit, this is about Steve Gutenberg. He works, I guess, for the military, and they're designing robots. They designed five of these robots, and during a test demo, one of them gets struck by lightning and comes to life and starts malfunctioning, and then is on the run. And the military says, "Man, it being destroyed," but he's like, "No, I'm alive." And I mean, that's basically the movie. The
yeah, yeah,
robot he runs into Ali Sheedy, and they, first she thinks he's an alien, then realizes he's a robot, and there's almost like a romance between them. It's kind of weird. Uh,
I don't know. It's
what?
it's it's like the romance between. Honestly, I buy this romance like not being as weird as Leah Thompson and Howard the Duck.
Oh yeah, yeah. So one of the things I didn't realize till I sent you the movie was the guy who directed this directed Saturday Night Fever. So that's why there's a
Mhm.
Saturday Night Fever dance scene in this
Yeah,
movie. Um, but yeah, it's a harmless movie. It's very funny, or at least it
yeah,
was when I was a kid. Um, and I would say that I think it's interesting that this is about basically about AI coming to life, and what are we talking about now? And
yeah,
AI
yeah.
coming to life. So I mean, this is even though this was an '80s film, it was still talking about stuff that we're talking about today. So
Yeah. I do think that this isn't going to be something that comes up in conversation during that because uh I mean like Johnny 5 coming to life is almost magical in a way. Like he's struck by lightning and comes to life.
yeah,
Like
it's like he's touched by God and comes to
yeah,
life or something.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it's not like he was an AI that the longer he is sentient, he actually gains his own sentience. It's not like one
Hmm.
of those.
Sure.
So I will say that this movie immediately became better when I realized that Lieutenant Provenza from The Closer is in it.
Yes.
I love G.W. Bailey, um, and it went to a perfect 10 immediately. um, I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, I actually don't have a whole lot to say about the movie. I enjoyed it. It's an '80s movie, and so
Hmm.
like I'm not particularly like '80s movies are not my cup of tea. Particularly,
And
I
you weren't around for the '80s, also. There's a
right, right. There
nostalgia
definitely
factor
is. Oh,
for me.
there definitely is. There definitely is. It's kind of like I would have trouble showing a kid I don't know, like Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. There's a there's a there there's a like I remember um there's a nostalgia to Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. Um but yeah, I for the most part I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
Um I don't
So
have anything particularly bad to say about it.
what do you think happens in the sequel?
Um, I don't know. Like honestly, this is the type of movie that was like this either doesn't get a sequel or like we get like an evil version of Johnny Five.
Mhm.
Like that. I would say an evil. I'll guess an evil version of Johnny Five because it seems like that kind of movie.
Who do you think is the main character besides Johnny Five in the sequel?
Oh, we're gonna go with oh, what's that guy's name? Tim Curry.
No, it's a character from the first movie.
Okay. If you tell me it's G.W. Bailey, I'm on board.
No, it's not G.W. Bailey.
Dang it. Um, I'm gonna go with the assistant, the doctor's assistant.
Okay, I sent you the movie poster so you can see who the main character is.
What the hell? um,
So with
is this?
sequels in the '80s, or you always have to go to New York for the sequel. So the sequel is Johnny in New York.
I
You can
gotta
pull up
be
the movie
honest.
poster.
I gotta be honest. I was joking. I I huh.
Benjamin, yeah, Ben is the main character. Uh, Johnny gets sent to live with Ben for a little bit, and what's his name? Oh, give me a second. Michael McKean, you know that is right.
Yeah.
He is the other main character. He's kind of like a scam artist. They start making little Johnny Five toys that they're going to sell, and there is a bank manager that befriends Johnny's old friendly bank manager. And the bank manager is actually a bad guy. They're trying to dig a tunnel into the bank to steal everything, and the toy warehouse is in the way. So he has to trick Johnny into helping them break into the bank. And then they try to kill Johnny. Johnny's bleeding to death, and there's this whole sad scene where he's dying, and they have to save him at the end. And at the end, he's rebuilt as a golden Johnny and gets citizenship as a U.S. citizen at the end of the movie.
So he becomes a Super Saiyan and becomes American.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then and so Chuck McGill from Better Call Saul is selling these toys. And do people like this movie? Like, is
I
this
do, but I don't know what. I love Gremlins too, so you might be talking to the wrong person. I don't know.
critical response? Rotten Tomatoes 38%. Uh,
What's the response of the first movie?
oh, Roger Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up,
Oh,
dude.
yeah, yeah.
And so the first one, Ebert. Let's see, who did Ebert give? Oh man, Roger Ebert actually didn't like the first movie.
Yeah, I think this one's funnier.
One 1.5 out of 4.
It's like Johnny like meets a bunch of like graffiti spraying punks, and they teach him how to curse and stuff. There's some funny stuff in this movie. So
I got to be honest. I think that people's opinions on movies actually got worse when Roger Ebert died. Um, because Roger Ebert, he was the guy, and he either he was very binary. You either liked it or didn't like it. Like
mhm.
thumbs up, thumbs down. We don't have to like now. Everyone's got their own 4 hour analysis for their review.
Have you ever read his review for Human Centipede?
No, I try not to think about it.
He says he said this movie gets 0 stars. For a universe where this movie exists, there are no stars in the sky.
Oh my lord, that's great. Man,
Uh,
I wish like
I the thing got me is when Siskel died, they replaced it with Roper or whatever the guy's name was, and he was kind of an idiot because like they're reviewing Lilo and Stitch, and he's like, I didn't like the art style, and so I give it a thumbs down. He was looking at him like, what is wrong with you?
I think, and we're getting off topic here, but I think that the best professional movie critic right now, um, he's very fair and very I real reviews with James Berardinelli. I think that he is probably the best movie reviewer since Roger Ebert died.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, you know what? Let me see. Let's see what James Berardinelli has said about Short Circuit.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say about these two movies. If you're looking for '80s kids movies, that's mostly harmless, a little adult humor in there. These are, they're fun. They're not like
Okay.
masterpieces, but they are fun movies.
Let's see. Control.
And I don't know why they haven't remade this. This seems like something they would remake in a heartbeat.
Let's see. So he didn't review it. I think he was too young at the time, but he does a 1988 expose. July was a July to remember. The first week was unspectacular. I saw Short Circuit, which has become something of a cult classic, but which didn't evoke much enthusiasm from me at the time. Okay, there we go. That is his opinion on Short Circuit. So yeah,
So
I thought it was fun. You know,
yeah.
I had a good time with it. I do not regret the time that I spent watching this. I will say I have no desire to watch the second one unless you make me watch it. Uh,
There is a funny scene. I can't think of what the Shakespeare play is where he's whispering in the person's ear what to say. The ugly person is. That's really what what I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah.
They do that in this movie because Ben is too nervous to talk to girls, so Johnny's telling him what to say, and the transmissions get scrambled. So then Ben starts saying stupid stuff. It's kind of funny. He's like, "Have you punched a chicken today?" She's like, "What?"
That honestly, if you think about it, another word for chicken, that's a pickup line. You know what I mean? Have you punched a chicken today?
Put
Like,
that on a T-shirt.
hey girl, have you punched a chicken today? Do you want to? Oh
Uh,
Lord. Okay, so yeah, I'm down with Short Circuit. I like.
okay,
I
cool.
don't know if it's one that I'll like revisit.
Yeah,
You know what? So did this get a cartoon as well?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Surprisingly, not. And again, I don't know why it hasn't been remade. I don't know if maybe the Ben character is too problematic, or like we don't want to remind people this exists, or what. But
Yeah, I mean, like we definitely get a lot of stuff that is reminiscent. Like I said, Chappie is very reminiscent of this, and obviously Wally as well.
yeah, and
Um,
then the I can't think of the guy's name that made Wally. He's like, "Oh, I've never seen Short Circuit," and you're like, "What? How does this
yeah.
your character look so much like Johnny?" And yeah, anyhow,
So, uh, honestly, this is one of those where like this is kind of like Ghostbusters, where like I would be surprised if this became a franchise, but
yeah,
that's
I don't see it being a franchise, but I'm also surprised they haven't tried to make it a franchise.
yeah. Um, but yeah, speaking of a franchise, it's a franchise that I love that you've seen one movie from and then read the synopsis of the other movies.
Well,
um,
I've seen most of Alien, and I've seen all of Alien. So now I've seen all of Prometheus. So I think I've seen most of the three good movies of the series. Would that be fair to say?
I like three, and I like AVP.
Okay, well I wasn't counting the Predator movies, but
Okay,
yeah,
so not counting those, um, yeah, probably. Like I said, I like Alien 3, but I wouldn't call that one of the good movies.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I assume that if you call it one of the good movies that you liked it.
Oh, sure. This was fun. It kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger, like wanting answers and stuff. And then I read the
Yeah,
plot for the next one. You don't really get a lot of answers.
yeah, yeah.
So, uh, but this movie, just a quick synopsis. Some scientists have found
Try to put this in a quick synopsis.
some scientists have found ancient carvings all over the world. They're all referencing the same solar system, and apparently aliens. And apparently, these aliens called the engineers go to planets. They mix their DNA with the planet to create new life. I'm assuming is what happened at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so these engineers, and I think they're called space jockeys in one of the other movies. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so they're called space jockeys in the first one.
Yeah. Um, so they're constantly evolving new stuff, and so apparently this is kind of like a military base that they get drawn to, and the engineers were creating a weapon. It's almost like the alien symbiote that it when it mixes with stuff, it makes deadly creatures.
Yep.
And the experiment got out of control, so the engineers locked themselves in hibernation and tried to hide themselves from it. And so now these scientists have discovered all this and they've woken it up. Meanwhile, and you covered up my name, Wayland Utani guy who
Oh
owns the
yeah.
company is elderly and he wants to use the engineers to have immortality. So he sent his creation, David, who's an android, to have a secret mission where he's trying to contact the engineers and figure out how to live forever. So David's kind of doing this mission at all costs, even if he is infecting people with the virus or doing
Mhm.
things behind their back. That's basically the plot.
Kinda, yeah, yeah. It. There's a lot going on in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Uh, like, um, there's a lot of supplemental material that you don't know
Hmm.
about.
Okay.
Um, so like, tell me this: why did they have Guy Pearce play the old guy? Why not cast an old guy? Um, the reason is because there's a lot of supplemental material about him being um, a young man.
Hmm.
And so like there's like a faux TED talk. It's actually a TED talk.
Hmm.
You'll be able to look this up on YouTube, where it's a young Guy Pearce, Mr. Wayland, where he reveals the first ever android, David. So David is actually the first android.
Hmm.
Um,
And androids, they have a history of betraying everybody in these movies. I know the one in Aliens doesn't, but
Bishop, yeah,
yeah. So, and you can kind of see the way they talk about David, why he doesn't really like humans. They're
yeah.
not very nice to him.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's not that they're not nice to him. They don't even consider him.
Yeah, yeah, and he's like, what if your creator said, oh, they just created you because they could, or what,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah. It's, I mean,
and they don't
it's,
realize they're talking to an android where that's what they're saying to him to his face.
yeah.
And
No, I mean, it's so interesting. I think that, I'm trying to remember the actor's name. Discount Tom Hardy. Logan Marshall Green. I think he's great. Um, I think that his obvious depression towards the middle is it's done very very well. I
mhm,
also think that Numi Rapaz is really good. Uh, our two leads I think are just very good.
mhm,
And uh, one thing that you will unfortunately not be able to experience. Um, I think that so. This movie came out in 3D. This movie came out during the 3D craze. Um, I actually have it on Blu-ray 3D, and I watched it in theaters in 3D. I think this movie has better 3D than the first Avatar.
Okay.
So it's phenomenal. Like whenever they're doing like the whole the 3D maps and everything, like it just looks
Mhm.
so cool. Um, Now I want to know if you were able to decipher this on your first viewing. Do you know why the engineers were um, making this weapon?
No, I don't know.
So there is an implication in this film that the engineers actually sent one of their own to Earth
Hmm.
to teach. Um,
Oh, is this the Christ thing?
yes, yes.
Okay,
And
I have heard
so
this. Yes.
okay, so they're on one of like their carvings in the military base. There's a it looks like a xenomorph, but it's in a Christ pose.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So that's implying that that they were sending space Jesus to make their lives better, but we killed him instead. And so now,
Oh, so that's why they want to wipe us out because
yeah,
we're barbarians. We don't deserve to.
yep. And that's never explicitly said. That's just something that you can kind of yeah. And I like the fact that it's not explicitly said because
Right. Yeah.
that may not be it.
No.
Uh,
I mean, it makes sense.
yeah,
Well, because it, and I think that maybe that's better than that Alien Covenant doesn't give you those answers. Then you
yeah,
have to figure it out yourself.
yeah, yeah. I think that if anything, Alien Covenant didn't need to give us the answers as to why they were gonna wipe us out, just why they created us. Because one of the theories that I had as to why the engineers created us was because um, they're trying to create the ultimate life form, right?
Hmm.
And it's one of those. It's kind of like the High Evolutionary in Guardians 3, where we think that where we think, oh, we're the ultimate life form. Well, no, we're actually just a stepping stone to the ultimate life form. The ultimate life form is the xenomorph, and we are just a means to create that ultimate life form. That's it. That's one thing that I've always thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because to create that ultimate life form, uh, essentially these face huggers have to impregnate us as husks to create the xenomorph. Um,
So in the sequel, from what I've read, it sounds like David is doing experiments trying to create the ultimate
yes,
alien. Yeah.
right, exactly. So it's kind of what I was thinking, but it wasn't the engineers; it's David.
Hmm.
Um, which here's the thing: there are some good things about Alien Covenant. I don't like Alien Covenant, but there are good things. There's a specific scene where they don't have a chest burster; they have a thing called a back burster, where it comes out of a person's back, and that's dope. And then so Michael Fassbender actually plays dual roles. He plays a character called Michael, not Michael,
Walter.
Walter.
Hmm.
Um, in and so he's Walter for like the first half, and then they discover David, and then there's scenes where like he's essentially doing a monologue where Walter is talking to David,
Hmm.
and it is fantastic. Um, so I would say those are like the best parts. The thing that I really don't like, I just I don't like the pessimism of Alien Covenant because there's a character and he's played by oh, what's the actor's name? He played Doctor Manhattan in the Watchmen movie. Um, Billy Crudup.
Hmm.
Billy Crudup is like the captain of the ship, and he is going through a crisis in faith. Um, and at the end, he finally finds his faith again, and his reward for him refinding his faith is that he becomes the first host for the Xenomorph, and I don't like the implications of that. I don't like the pessimism that
Yeah, because there
implies.
was a faith message in Prometheus where he was like, "You still have faith after all this," when she was putting the cross back on, and
Yeah.
so at the end of Alien Covenant, the Wikipedia entry was saying that he places two alien embryos among the others. Um, do we know what happens with that? Does that lead into aliens, or is this something different? We don't know where that's
Uh,
going to end up.
no, we don't know.
Okay, so it's just set up a sequel that hasn't happened. Maybe might be Romulus, but might be something else. Okay.
It's definitely, it might be Romulus. Um, Specifically, it really depends on, because what Romulus is it's a crew that has found a distress signal. They found a not a distress signal, but they found like a derelict ship, and so they dock with that derelict ship, um, and as they're on the ship, that's whenever they uh, deal with the xenomorph. So there is a possibility. I actually didn't think about this. So good on you for bringing it up. It is possible that the derelict ship is the Covenant.
So we could have David showing up again.
We could, which honestly, I mean, like at this point, this is his franchise. Let him do what he wants.
Yeah, he's a cool villain. Yeah, I think that's fine. Um,
um, I
though at some point it's got to backfire him. He'll have to die from his creation getting too out of control. But
yeah. Um, but yeah, this is one of my favorite movies that I did watch it this week. I have not seen this since when did Covenant come out? I have not seen it since 2017. Um, because I love Prometheus so much, and then Alien Covenant just kind of uh, I don't know, like I don't it ruined my enthusiasm for Prometheus as a movie, because I'm like, oh, I guess they're this is one of those movies. Prometheus is one of those movies where like it it's only as good as its sequel. But after rewatching it, I actually disagree with myself. I think that this stands by itself
hmm
perfectly fine. Um, so this has actually helped me re-find my love for Prometheus.
yeah,
uh,
you know, uh, as a fan of different pop culture, I think it's really important that you set up your own head canon and accept what you want to accept and what you don't, because no one says that you have to like everything that has that brand name on it, and don't focus on stuff you don't like, focus on stuff you do. So
and
that's just me.
uh, I think, if we're talking about performances, we got Charlize Theron and Idris Elba,
hmm
both phenomenal. um, I also love the two scientists that get lost in the tunnels.
Yeah.
Now I will say that there are some funny parts, like people kind of dunk on this movie, because it's like, oh man, she was just walking in a straight line. They're making all these stupid decisions, blah blah blah. Well, I mean, like like by the time they're making the stupid decisions, they're scared.
Yeah.
Um, there's one thing that this is all before they're scared. uh, is the two that get lost in the cave are the navigators.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird because he's the one that had the probes that
Yeah,
mapped out the day. Like, so should you be able to talk to your
yeah.
probes and figure this out? Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. Fiefeld and Milburn is their names.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they they get lost. I also obviously he's not scared because he finds an alien that somehow looks like a mix between the two reproductive organs at the same time.
hmm
um, and he's just like, "Oh, this is adorable." cute. I'm gonna touch it.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Jurassic Park scene with Newman and the spitter. Or I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I've seen this movie. Don't get near that.
uh, but yeah, obviously he wasn't scared. They were just lost. Now, there. So, Paradise Lost is a big influence on this film. There's another influence on this film that I actually am not. I've never seen it, so I actually and they mention it so much, so I know that there's something in this movie that I'm missing. I just have not seen this film. I've never seen Lawrence of Arabia.
Hmm.
And so I'm sure there is something in this movie that I'm missing because I don't have the perspective of Lawrence of Arabia.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I'm digging the franchise. I'm almost curious though, where do you take it from here? Like,
Um, we know that Noah Hawley's show on FX. This is going to be like, so he's finished Legion. This will be after he finishes Fargo. He's got an Alien show coming out for FX that takes place on Earth and will be about the original androids. So
okay.
if anything, I don't even think that it's going to have. I don't think it's going to have Alien in the title. I think that's a show that you just called Wayland. Like that's the title of the show.
Hmm.
Um, and so we know that that's something. And then as far as Romulus, it. I mean, it could be the Covenant. It could be that the Nostromo was not destroyed. Or it could be another ship. Who knows? But we know that that takes place in between Alien and Aliens. So like that.
So, ignoring the Aliens vs Predator movies, have the aliens ever made it to Earth?
No.
So I think that's where the movies have to ultimately go. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember Resurrection. Alien Resurrection, written by Joss Whedon. um,
Speaking of things we can't mention on the show,
yeah, redacted. Let's see. Um, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So Alien Resurrection ends with them crash landing on Earth. Um,
so it has the
so
potential to go there, but they didn't do a sequel. So
yeah,
okay,
I mean Resurrection was pretty bad. uh,
yeah.
and
And
uh,
Winona Ryder's the android in that one, right?
uh, yes, Winona
Mhm.
Ryder is, and then if I recall, I believe Ripley is as well. She's either an android or a clone. I can't remember
I think
which.
she's a clone.
Okay. Yeah, because she dies at the end of Alien 3.
Yeah,
But yeah, it is Winona Ryder. Ron Perlman's in it. Ron Perlman and his crew, they're actually great. They're the best part about that.
yeah.
Um, let's see. Ripley has been cloned using blood samples. Okay, yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I as far as the versus Predator movie, I actually do like the first one. The second one is funny because it's actually a Dawson's Creek movie, but it has aliens in it. It's
The alien ends up with Pacey at the end.
um, ironically though, like Alien versus Predator, at least the first one is also about faith. Uh, I don't know what it is about the aliens movies that like inherently make them about faith. But it's interesting.
Hmm.
Uh, let's see, because the main character, who plays that main character? Oh, I don't know who she is. Okay,
Yeah.
so Sanaa Lathan. I've only seen her in this movie.
So,
Uh,
bonus question: who would you like to see aliens have a crossover with next after Predator?
So we know that they're having that Avengers crossover. Um,
They've had a Star Trek crossover, I think, and
I
Superman, and
Oh, that is a good question.
the one I
I
always thought of was Terminator. I think
I
that
think
could
there
be
is
interesting.
one. I think
Is
there
there?
is. I think
Probably.
so. Uh, yep. Dark Horse: Alien versus Predator versus the Terminator.
There you
That
go.
that was when was that? Uh, 2000. Wow.
That's basically the birth of StarCraft. So
um, I think Halo would be really cool.
I could see that.
Um,
They've
it.
crossed over with Mortal Kombat, and
Oh man, yeah, that was great. Uh, I mean, I still think that there should be like some sort of like Tournament of Power movie with just a bunch of horror icons, you know, like Alien, Predator, Terminator, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. Just put like a Secret Wars or a
mhm.
Tournament of Power, but with horror icons. It'd be so cool. And your
You
main
just have a
character
group of teenagers there for no reason, like, oh, we're screwed.
actually. So Robert Rodriguez's it's the third Predator movie, Predators, very
Mhm,
similar because it's a bunch of warrior quote unquote warriors
mhm.
from Earth that are just dropped in the middle of a jungle, hunted by a bunch of predators. So I mean that's definitely that is something that could be done.
That's
Uh,
another franchise I've thought about getting into. We'll see.
Predators.
Well, Predator as a general. I've seen most of the first one with Arnie,
I think you would like the first and the third one definitely.
and I've heard Prey is good. I don't know.
Oh, I love Prey. I love Prey. um,
So maybe we'll do a Predator episode here in a couple months or something.
I let me see. Is that on the?
Prey was on Hulu. I know that, but I don't know.
Well, I was seeing. We're doing like we keep talking about doing a summer of blockbuster franchises. Predator is on that list, so it is on the
Okay.
list.
All right. Cool.
Cool. Well,
Anything else we want to say about Prometheus before we move on?
no. I do want to say that we may have to do another pre-recorded show next week as well. Um, just
Okay.
because I I may or may not be playing with my friend's band, and that starts at like 5. Like it starts at 5 on Sunday, so
Okay.
it depends. I may not be playing with them, so that is to be
All right.
determined.
So we'll see. So until that time, I've been Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and we'll catch you next time in the Shark Pond.
See ya.